And what the film began to show me, the footage, was that the life of the artist couple was just saturated with ordinary domestic endless stuff, and that the cat was watching us carry things in and carry them out and put them in drawers and cook them and then get rid of them. So the drama of a romantic artist's life was just kind of a fragile increment, and perhaps the film itself could begin to become some aspect of it. What else should I say? It was very important early on that I began to make the images dual, so that it was not so programmatic or like I had to get it away from reporting its own information. And so that meant double projection, complicated editing with little strings and ropes and all kinds of odd attachments that you're not supposed to use, and accepting that the ordinary life was going to come in and put dust and dirt on the film as well. Yeah, so it's from the 70s, and yeah, those are the keys to it that I'm thinking of right now. Each section is, I guess, about 18 minutes, and we're only going to look at two 18-minute sections. The actual duration of the complete diary is about 5 hours. And I will mention that Fuses, Plumb Line, which I'll be showing at a subsequent viewing, and Kitsch's Last Meal have been called the autobiographical trilogy by Scott McDonald, and that helps me keep those connections. So, okay, Kitsch's Last Meal, 2 sections.
Do you take comments rather than questions?
Okay.
I would like to take exception at one of the things you said.
Can you hear her, or should she
as
be
a
louder?
matter of introducing,
Yeah.
you seem to be a bit critical at the so-called feminist rhetoric of the 70s.
Can you hear her?
And I have to say that, first of all, I had forgotten this text, the encounter with the happy structuralist filmmaker, but I realized it had remained ingrained in my memory. Or he told me, he lived with a sculptress. I said, does that make me a filmmaker? I said, no, we think of you as a dancer. Yeah. What I wanted to say is that I think that what seems outdated now is not what you call the feminist rhetoric of the 70s, but the position of a lone, self-satisfied male structuralist filmmaker of the 70s. This is a form of cinema that has remained as a very venerable, classical form, but that doesn't really quite continue to inform current filmmaking the way your kind of filmmaking does. The funky, handheld filmmaking that is predicated upon low-tech mistakes, shaky camera, the personal, and so forth. And I really don't think it's aged, but the discourse there hasn't aged. I think that young women filmmakers continue to face obstacles like that. They're being told, oh, we think of you as something else. But why did you feel that you had to say this, and how do you
Right now, you mean?
Yeah, and what is your current interaction with young women filmmakers, for example, especially in the light of an exhibition like WAC, which I think has put a lot of things again on the agenda, discussion and so forth.
Well, the discussion is transformed, and women filmmakers are definitely influences and presences, but my situation is that I was not expected to go to college. No girl in either of my family's history had ever done such a thing. It was considered unnecessary. my wall of obfuscation had in the 60s to do with, as I endlessly remind people, that there's no equitable pronoun whatsoever, and if you will please go and research writings in the 70s, you will see that even Germaine Greer describes the human being as he, and that women want to make a transformation, it's up to him. So that's what's guiding the text, is this cultural exclusivity that has to do with language and sexuality. There's, until feminist historians and archaeologists and activists fought for the neutralizing pronoun and to be called Ms. instead of the possessive of masculine traditions, and that there was no sense to describe sexuality or your work apart from a configuration that was exclusively masculinized unless you came in as the caboose. So, Kitsch's Last Meal, those texts are complicated because the actual address, I met a happy man, a structuralist filmmaker, is not addressed to a male. In actual fact, it was addressed in a disguise to a feminist art historian who could not tolerate my work. And the quotes are from her graduate students. And she was, at the time, the only woman art historian who cared about some women's films. Forgive me. So that was another kind of lesion of exclusion. The discussion of the position was so extreme in the 70s that it's very hard to encapsulate it now. It was, it's just hard to reposition it. The context has shifted, although some of the political and social deformations of what women do and make, and our history remains, but it remains in a shifted configuration in which we have much more activity and presence and word. And for me to be even able to speak to a group like you is always astonishing, because I'm from the generation that had no women teachers after kindergarten, right? There were no women speaking, and now, we won't shut up. And the research in archaeology, anthropology, and the studies microbiology, it's absolutely transformative, and it's vivid. And insofar as we share this and have some equity with male culture, that's so positive and astonishing. And the other side of it for me is the increased militarization and these psychopathic leaders, the fundamentalists and the militarists, with their huge, overwhelming technologies that seems to me always be in some proportion to how we got to make these cunts shut up and put them back. Yeah. So also, every magazine you see that's about popular culture has a Hollywood star who is what? She is fucking pregnant. She may be a slut, but hey, she's gonna have a baby. She's a mommy. So let's get the female back into her eggs where we want her to be. I don't know if that has anything to do with your question.
Absolutely, but it's Susan Faludi that just wrote a book about this.
How'd she do? She's good. It's okay.
Well, it's a dream of terror about the fact that the militarization of America brings back the John Wayne syndrome and putting women as mommies and And
do we have another direction question or something simple? A really dumb question.